There's no better feeling than a personal win, and the State Farm Personal Price Plan can help you do just that. Talk to a State Farm agent today to learn how you can bundle and save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Welcome to the Chalkboard, my fellow football nerds, for episode number 167 of Chalk Talk. I'm your host, Shane Haff, and you can follow me on Twitter at ShaneHaffNFL. I'm joined today by the best co-host in the game. You've heard him on the Tough Cover radio show. It is Mark Henry Jr. Give him a follow on Twitter at MarkHenryJr_. Mark, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Phillies have won 3 in a row. Big win from them. This is my third podcast back to back to back. It is officially football season. If you're recording 3 straight podcasts, you know the Eagles play in like less than 9 days.
We are so back.
So back.
I feel like we should start a recurring segment on this show of like, guess what major city Mark is in tonight.
Yeah, I like that. Right now it's Greensboro, North Carolina. It is where I'm at. I think I did the show a couple weeks ago from, was it Omaha? I didn't do it from Omaha, but I was just in Omaha and then went straight to Greensboro. I'm all over the dang country.
All right. Well, maybe one of these days you'll be flying all over the country to check out training camps and stuff. But yeah, for now, we're just podcasting from hotel rooms. So let's dive into it. What we are doing today. We are doing our annual awards draft. We have 9 categories. We're going to have a 4-round draft in each of those 9 categories. And then we'll come back at the end of the year and we'll revisit this and see who won. Last year, I edged Mark out by 1 slot. So it was a close one. It's always a close one. Here's our categories. We have MVP winner, offensive and defensive rookies of the year, offensive and defensive player of the year, coach of the year, first coach fired, Super Bowl winner, and then the worst team, the number 1 overall pick. So 9 categories. We've got a random wheel spinner. We're going to spin the wheel to see who gets the first pick. Whoever has the first pick gets to choose the category that we're drafting first, and then we'll snake draft it. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into it here. I'll throw the wheel spinner on the board. Those of you listening on audio platforms, we'll talk through everything. If you're watching, we've got a nice little spreadsheet that I put together that will keep stuff on as well. I like that I put my first name and my last name instead of putting your first name for one of the categories. So let me fix that, and here we go. We'll spin the wheel, and it looks like the number 1 overall pick for us is going to go to... Unless that spins a lot further, it's going to go to me. All right, so I get the first overall pick. I say we're going to run over to Offensive Rookie of the Year first.
Okay.
And Offensive Rookie of the Year, in the last 10 years, Mark, there have been 4 quarterback winners, 3 receiver winners, and 3 running back winners. But in the last 5 years, no running back has won this award. So Offensive Rookie of the Year, I'm going to go with the odds-on betting favorite, and that is Caleb Williams, who is sitting at plus 135 right now. I said I think he's going to be the first 4,000-yard passer in Bears franchise history in his rookie season. It's hard to imagine if he does that, he doesn't win the award. So give me Caleb Williams.
I think he's not only going to win Rookie of the Year, I think he's going to finish top 5 in MVP voting. So I'm all in on Caleb Williams. He would, if I got the number 1 pick, I would have went right to Offensive Rookie of the Year. as well. But with the second pick, I'm not going to go with who's second in odds. I'm actually going to go with who's third in odds. I'm going to go with Marvin Harrison Jr. And I know that, Jayden Daniels is a quarterback, so he has the leg up. I'm actually surprised that there's only been 4 of the last 10 have been quarterback. I would have thought that would have been a higher quarterback number, but we have seen receivers step into the league and be elite right away. And I think that's what Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be. I took him last night in the second round of a live fantasy draft I did with the radio station. I think in fantasy, I have him ranked as my number 12 player overall. So as a first round pick. And if I think he's going to produce as a first round pick for fantasy, then that means he should have a chance at least, unless Caleb Williams does what I think Caleb Williams is going to do.
All right, so you get the second pick here on the wraparound of the snake draft. So who do you want to pair with Marvin Harrison Jr.?
I'll go Jayden Daniels. There is a chance Jayden Daniels steps right in and is what he's going to be because of his rushing ability and the floor that gives him. I don't know if he's not going to be, and he's played a ton of football as well. I think he's kind of what he is. I'm not saying he's a finished product. He can obviously improve, but I think if he's going to be successful, he probably will be right away. So I think Jayden Daniels has a chance with his rushing to win this award, even if Caleb has a good year, just because he could end up with 900 rushing yards and have a good passing season. Maybe Washington has a surprising season and they're one of the stories of the year. So I think these are the 3 that really have a chance.
All right. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think there's a great chance for anybody else on the list. But for my next pick, I'm going to take Drake May. Drake May should be the starter for the Patriots. The injury to Jacoby Brissett's shoulder might open that door for him. And if he does become the starter, week 1, there's a chance he's going to ball out. And it's a pretty bad team. Expectations should be low, but it's a narrative-driven award. And so if you get the franchise quarterback coming in the year after Belichick left, and you've got Gerard Mayo's Tom Brady, I could see that really stacking up. So I'll take Drake May at plus 1,300. And then the next guy I'm going to take is the guy that we said we could see his career going a lot of different ways. We could see him being a first-round bust, or he could get drafted by the Chiefs, and we could see him being a Hall of Famer, and that's Xavier Worthy. Yeah. I'll take Xavier Worthy plus 2,200. Patrick Mahomes has got to throw the ball to somebody. It might as well be the guy with 4.2 speed running down the field.
Yeah, no, that's who I would have taken if you didn't take Worthy. So I'm a big Xavier Worthy guy for fantasy this year. I am going to take a pick I don't like at all here. Just give me Bo Nix, as disgusting as that is. He's a starting quarterback. I'll put it on there. Sean Payton did put up yards with Russell Wilson last year. If you look at Russell Wilson's stats last year, you'd think he had a good year. And I know Shane thinks Russell Wilson absolutely stinks and he's totally washed. So if that's the case, Bo Nix might be able to do what Russ did last year. I think the people around him will do more. Then this last pick, give me Rome Odunze, just in case one of the 2 Bears receivers gets hurt. Too many mouths to feed. There's probably little chance of him winning it with Caleb on the same team. So maybe I should have went with Brock Bowers, but it's a tight end. I don't know how likely that is for him to win it.
No, see, I was going to say there's a pick you should make that I can't, and it's Rome Odunze, because there's a chance, Caleb Williams has a great year, but Rome Odunze also has a great year. Maybe Odunze steals some votes from him. So I think Rome Odunze is a great way to get just a small bite of the Caleb Williams action on this one without Caleb Williams being available to you. So I'll fill out mine. My last pick here, I'll go with Keon Coleman. Again, like Josh Allen's got to throw the football to somebody, and there's really nobody else. So I'll take Keon Coleman at plus 3,500 to fill it out here. So I've got Caleb Williams, Drake May, Xavier Worthy, Keon Coleman. You have Marvin Harrison Jr., Jayden Daniels, Bo Nix, and Rome Odunze. So that puts you up with the first overall pick in the category of your choice. Which way do you want to go here?
Let's go over to Defensive Player of the Year. And with the first pick, I'll take T.J. Watt, who I think is the odds-on favorite. And when T.J. Watt plays, the Pittsburgh Steelers are an elite football team. It's that simple. I think he's the best defensive player in football.
Yeah, that's a great pick. That's absolutely the right pick here. Let me find Defensive Player of the Year. I'll give you T.J. Watt. By the way, defensive player of the year, I've got that rundown. In the last 10 years, it has been 9 pass rushers and 1 cornerback. So pass rushers, sacks are the way to go here. So I will go with Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons wants a contract. Micah Parsons isn't getting a contract, and we know how that sometimes impacts players, that contract year bump. So I think Micah Parsons could be in line for a big year. And then, I was going to say I'll double dip. I'm probably going to quadruple dip at pass rusher here, but I'll give me Max Crosby as well. Max Crosby playing with Antonio Pierce, guy that he's a big fan of. Could see that really going well in Las Vegas, at least for the defense. So I'll take Parsons and Crosby.
I don't like what you inferred there about my Raiders, at least for the defense. What about the offense, Shane? No, I'm joking.
Well,
no, I believe in the Las Vegas Raiders. We've talked enough about it. But that would have been my pick there, Max Crosby. He was actually my second pick, even over Parsons. I think Crosby absolutely could win it this year. Give me Myles Garrett as like the easy one. I think that's the clear top 4 right there. And then I think it opens up a little bit. And then after Myles Garrett is where I start to struggle here. If I want to just take the easy guy or if I want to take the big swing, I'll take the easy guy. Give me Nick Bosa. I didn't want to take Nick Bosa. I wanted to take a more exciting, younger option. But it's probably got to be Bosa.
All right. So that gives me – that's the right pick, by the way, I think. I would have taken Bosa there. I'm really torn because there's 3 guys I want to take, and I've only got 2 picks here. Give me Aiden Hutchinson. I think Aiden Hutchinson's a good pick here. For the last one, I've got to choose between 2 guys. I'm going to do it. Give me Jalen Carter. I'll take Jalen Carter for my last pick for Defensive Player of the Year. I think he could have a really big year with Fangio, especially the way he schemes some of his defensive tackles to have unblocked pressures. I could see that really inflating his numbers. So I'll take Jalen Carter, and I'll see if you take the other guy I was thinking about.
I'm going to – Aiden Hutchinson would have been my next pick. That was who I was comparing to Bosa. I'm going to kind of go in the weeds a little bit. I'm going to go Will Anderson.
That was my pick. That was
your pick. Yeah, that's just like if he explodes into the player that we think he can be, and clearly the Texans think he can be when they traded up for him last year. So yeah, give me Will Anderson.
All right. So
he only had 7 sacks last year, though. Would have thought it would be more.
Yeah. Okay, so that is Micah Parsons, Max Crosby, Aiden Hutchinson, and Jalen Carter for me. Mark has T.J. Watt, Myles Garrett, Nick Bosa, and Will Anderson Jr. So that puts me up first here to take the next category. I'm trying to decide what I want it to be. Do I want to go? Yeah. Let's go to let's keep talking defense here. Let's go to Defensive Rookie of the Year as I scroll our spreadsheet here. For Defensive Rookie of the Year, in the last 10 years, it has been 3 cornerbacks, 5 defensive linemen, and 2 linebackers who had 7 and 13 sacks respectively. So this is an interceptions or sacks award. And that being the case, I'm going to go with the first defensive player drafted. He did not go as highly as you and I thought he should have. I'll take Laiatu Latu out of UCLA. I don't know why I just said out of UCLA. I'll take Laiatu Latu of the Indianapolis Colts at plus 425 for Defensive Rookie of the Year.
I am going to go with Byron Murphy in Seattle, even though I know that he's like maybe not going to get the sacks you want for Defensive Rookie of the Year. He's getting crazy buzz out of training camp that he is just unblockable, and he's maybe the best player on their defense already. So I'm gonna ride with that. And then with my next pick, I'll go Dallas Turner. Even though I think Minnesota might literally be the worst defense in football this year, it's going to be either them or the Rams, I think. I'm going to go with Dallas Turner as just a guy who could potentially get a lot of sacks.
All right. Well, you went with the guy that you said might play on the worst defense in the NFL. You said it was either the Vikings or the Rams. I'll go with the guy that plays for the Rams. Give me Jared Verse. Again, I just really think this is a sack award, and so I want to stack pass rushers here. But my stacking pass rushers does hit a point where I'm like, I don't want to be taking Chop Robinson at this point because I don't think Chop Robinson's going to get a lot of sacks. I don't think he's got that profile, so I will take Terrion Arnold at plus 1,200 for my third slot here. Maybe, he gets some credit if the Lions defense turns around. So that'll kick it back to you here for 2 picks.
I'll take Quinyon Mitchell as a homer pick here. And just if he helps the Eagles secondary kind of right the ship, I think he'll get a lot of credit for that. Then with my other pick, I'm going to go with Junior Colson, which might be off the board. But I think his odds are actually surprisingly not that steep. 3,500 plus 3,500 there. And it's just, they don't have a lot of linebackers in LA. I think Harbaugh's going to play him right away coming from Michigan. He's been getting a lot of buzz in training camp and in the preseason. So that would just be like 150 tackle award. Like if he gets a lot of tackles and there isn't a sacks guy out there, I just don't know who I'm taking that's supposed to get a lot of sacks at this point.
Yeah. I'm going to go kick it back here and take Edgerrin Cooper.
Yeah, that's who it was between.
Yeah, I feel like Edgerrin Cooper, I think he's going to play in a blitz-happy defense. There's a lot of athleticism there, so maybe he's able to go get some sacks. I thought about Nate Wiggins. He looked good in the preseason, but I really didn't want to be having 2 defensive backs on my Defensive Rookie of the Year list.
I thought about Trotter. I won't lie. I think he's going to play a lot, and at least he gets sacks. So I don't know if that'll be the case at the NFL level, but yeah, I decided against it against my better judgment.
All right, so for Defensive Rookie of the Year, I have Laiatu Latu, Jared Verse, Terrion Arnold, and Edgerrin Cooper. And Mark has Byron Murphy, Dallas Turner, Quinyon Mitchell, and Junior Colson. Mark, that puts you up to choose our next category. Where do you want to go?
Let's go over to – let's do Super Bowl winner. Let's do the big dog. Let's get it going.
That's a new podcaster move, man. You got to make that one last. Make the people stick around.
Yeah, that's a bad job by me, but I want to win this year. So give me the Kansas City Chiefs. That's why I did it. Yeah, you got to get the Chiefs in there. They have when Patrick Mahomes. I've given this stat too many times in this pod, but Patrick Mahomes has won 50% of the Super Bowls that he's been an active quarterback for, and he's been to the AFC Championship every year. Been to 4 of 6. Been to 4 Super Bowls in his 6 seasons as a starter. Easy.
All right. Well, give me the Eagles. So I don't necessarily want to be picking AFC teams to go against the Chiefs. I would like to have the NFC representative, so I will take the Eagles. And then I'm going to take shoot, who do I want to take? Give me man, I'm torn between a couple teams here. Because there's a team. I'll take the 49ers. Like, part of me thinks there's a chance the 49ers could just fully implode. But I also said that last year, and they went to overtime against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Yeah. So I still think this could go south fast. But until it happens, I'll take them here with my second pick.
No, I'm right there with you. I am going to go ahead and I'm going to take the Baltimore Ravens. I know last year this became NFC versus AFC. I think I had the NFC teams and you had the AFC teams.
And I think that ended up being the difference. And the year before it was flipped, if I remember correctly.
That's so funny. But it's not going to be this year because I'm taking an NFC team here. And I'm taking... should I do it? Do I do it? I don't know. I'm between 2 NFC teams. I'm going to take the one who I think Shane... Actually, he might take both of them. I'll take the Atlanta Falcons. Give me the Falcons. Oh. I was between them and another team. But
I thought I could get the Falcons later.
Yeah, I you know how all in I am. I bet them. I think I actually got them at 40-1 earlier on in the offseason. I got them to win the NFC like 18-1, and then I got them also to win the Super Bowl. I just think that roster's ready to go. I think Raheem Morris, if he is a good coach, he will get that defense to play above average. And I think if that defense is above average, I think the offense is going to be one of the best in the NFL.
All right. Where do I want to go now? I didn't think you were going to do that to me.
I think I know
Not
who
that
your next
early.
pick is. I think I already know. A team you were in on big time last year.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you're right, but I'm just double checking here. I'm going to do it. Give me the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, that's what I was between.
Yeah, I was kind of between picking the Packers versus the 49ers, so I'll take the Packers. I mean, you've heard all the stats from week 12, whatever, second half of the season. Jordan Love was number 1 in EPA, all that. And are they going to come out of the gate that hot? Maybe not. But you would think like the valleys at the beginning of the season, those won't be there if they're just more consistent. Like we know they can be really good. So I will take the Packers. And then I think I want some AFC exposure here.
Yeah.
And there are 2 quarterbacks that have beaten Patrick Mahomes in a playoff game. And one of them's in a booth now. Hopefully not for long. The other one plays for the Cincinnati Bengals, a team that Mark is out on, but I am not. Give me the Cincinnati Bengals coming out of the AFC, my lone AFC pick.
I'm going to stick in the AFC, and I'm going to go Jets, Jets. Give me the New York Jets. And I said this on a stream last night. If Garrett Wilson is the guy who the fantasy community thinks he is, the Jets are a Super Bowl contender because that would mean that they have a full-on elite passing attack with, in my opinion, the best defense in the NFL. So I thought that number would be higher. I thought that number would be more like 25-1. Wow, 19-1, right there with the Packers. I mean, I know it's in New York. You probably get a little bit of a New York bump sometimes with some of these teams, but wow, Vegas giving the Jets some respect.
I can't believe that nobody picked the Lions.
They weren't even my other team I was considering. How about that?
Who was the other team you considered?
The Bears. I was thinking about the Chicago Bears, who
Yeah,
I'm all in on.
That's crazy talk.
The defense played like a top 3 defense the last half of the year, and now I think that they're going to have an elite offense with Caleb Williams. You have Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Rome Odunze. That's the best trio of receivers in the league. The concerns of the O-line and the rushing game. But, I thought about the Bears, went with the Jets.
Yeah, the Lions and the Jets were the 2 teams that I kind of wanted on there that I wasn't able to fit in. But
the team that everyone will say, how did you not draft them, is Buffalo.
Yeah, I don't think so with Buffalo this year.
I agree with you. I feel the same way about Buffalo and Cincinnati. They go kind of hand.
I feel like Buffalo's defense got a lot worse, and Josh Allen still doesn't have anybody to throw the football to.
He's got less people to throw the football to.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Dalton Kincaid takes the lead. Maybe Keon Coleman. I obviously drafted Keon Coleman. Maybe he just hits immediately, and all of a sudden you got a great offense. But I don't know, man.
I agree.
Okay, so we have left. Super Bowl winners. I have the Eagles, 49ers, Packers, and Bengals. Mark has the Chiefs, Ravens, Falcons, and Jets. So we have left the first overall pick, Coach of the Year and first coach fired, Offensive Player of the Year, and MVP. Where do I want to take us? Let's go to Offensive Player of the Year. Offensive Player of the Year has been 3 quarterbacks, 4 running backs, and 3 wide receivers in the last 10 years. However, there has not been a quarterback in the last 5 years. It's sort of become that MVP is a quarterback award and Offensive Player of the Year is a non-quarterback award. So there has not been a repeat winner since. I'll ask this as a trivia question. Mark, when's the last time there was a repeat winner for Offensive Player of the Year, do you think? Or who do you think it was?
No idea. I'm trying to think of a running back. Derrick Henry?
Now, got to go back for 1999 to 2001.
Who is it?
Marshall Faulk, three-peated. 99 to 01. So, and so I say all that to say it would be hard for Christian McCaffrey to repeat after what he did last year, because you win Offensive Player of the Year after a great season. Even if you have a good year the next year, it's hard for it to look quite so good. So I am not going to go with Christian McCaffrey, but I am going to go with Tyreek Hill, a guy that arguably should have won the award last year. Put up some ridiculous numbers. Didn't get it. If he puts up anything close this year, I think it's his year. So give me. I think I said Christian McCaffrey through that whole thing, but Tyreek Hill is what I'm talking about.
I don't think you did.
Oh, did I not? Okay, I'm looking at like 6 different spreadsheets trying to transfer the things around here for the graphic on screen, and it's messing with me. But Tyreek Hill at plus 700.
Give me Christian McCaffrey. I feel like I've got to take him. Number 1 pick in fantasy. Obviously, a little banged up to start the year, but give me McCaffrey. And then I'll take CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb obviously just got back into practice. He signed the contract. But the reason CeeDee Lamb is up here is not necessarily because he's better than Ja'Marr Chase, Justin Jefferson, whoever you want to throw at. Dallas has no other weapons, and he's going to get every possible target he could want. So give me CeeDee Lamb.
All right. CeeDee Lamb is definitely who I wanted. If I had the second pick, I would have taken CeeDee Lamb over Christian McCaffrey. I think he's going to have a crazy year this year. As Dak is playing for an open free agent market, CeeDee's the only guy he's got to throw the football to. I think they're going to run wild. So my second pick, I'm going to go to your NFC Super Bowl pick. Give me Bijan Robinson at plus 1,800.
Well, the Eagles are my pick, but they're...
from your draft.
Yeah.
No. The Chiefs are your pick. You could have had the Eagles, and you didn't take them. You don't have faith. But Bijan Robinson, he wasn't used correctly last year. I think he's going to be used as a receiver out of the backfield. I don't think teams are going to be able to load the box up because Desmond Ridder is playing quarterback this year. So I think Bijan is a great pick here at plus 1,800. And then I'm going to go with... This would be easy it wouldn't be easy, but I would feel better about it if J.J. McCarthy didn't get hurt. But I'm going to take Justin Jefferson anyways because he's such a good receiver. I don't love Sam Darnold throwing in the football, but if anybody can make Sam Darnold look passable, it's Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, that's who I wanted for sure. I'm going to go with Garrett Wilson.
Oh, that was the next guy I wanted too.
Just as like if he explodes, that makes sense to me that he could be that guy. And then for my second pick, I'm gonna go with I don't like this, but I'm gonna go with Jonathan Taylor. He probably doesn't catch enough balls to do this, to be honest. But if he got back to his first 2 years, he caught 40 balls apiece those first 2 years, and he had a year with 1,800 yards and 18 touchdowns. And I think there's a chance he explodes this year with Anthony Richardson at quarterback, diverting attention away in the running game. So give me JT. Don't love that pick, though.
All right, I'm going to round it out here. I love the Garrett Wilson pick. That was going to be my pick if he got to me. He didn't, so I'll take Ja'Marr Chase. If I'm picking the Bengals as a potential Super Bowl winner, it makes sense that Ja'Marr Chase is having a good year too. So for Offensive Player of the Year, I have Tyreek Hill, Bijan Robinson, Justin Jefferson, and Ja'Marr Chase. You have Christian McCaffrey, CeeDee Lamb, Garrett Wilson, and Jonathan Taylor. That leaves us with MVP, Coach of the Year, First Coach Fired, and number 1 overall pick. So which way do you want to go here?
Let's go to First Coach Fired.
All right.
Because I think there's a very clear number 1 here, and it's from a team I picked. It's funny, right on top of it. But I did take the Jets to win the Super Bowl as one of my picks. But if they start 2-4, Aaron Rodgers is going to have Robert Saleh on the first plane back to San Francisco. So, yeah, it's got to be Robert Saleh.
What's funny is there is a coach that I have ranked highly in both Coach of the Year and First Coach Fired. And if he is there at the appropriate time, I will draft him in both.
I like that. That'd be funny.
But so I'm gonna go with Dennis Allen. I think the Saints could be a disaster this year. Or maybe they just get tired of being the same 7-win team that isn't good enough to fix their team, or isn't bad enough to fix their team, but yet not good enough to win a playoff game or anything like that. So I'll take Dennis Allen. Maybe this is the tipping point for Mickey Loomis. Maybe he finally decides to kickstart a rebuild here. I doubt it, but you never know. And then I'm going to go with a guy that I don't think he should be fired. I think it's a very real possibility because when you trade what you trade for Deshaun Watson and you guarantee his contract and he stinks to high heavens year after year and he fakes injuries and he the Ben Simmons of the NFL, not that I can fully use that because I don't follow the NBA that much, but if Deshaun Watson is just out on Kevin Stefanski, what do you do if you're Cleveland but move on from him? And I think Watson stinks, and I think Watson will scapegoat Stefanski, and I think it started last year, and I think it's going to continue, and I don't know what else you do except cave in when you've already caved so much for Deshaun Watson. So Kevin Stefanski for first coach fired.
Closer we get to the year, it just feels like the Browns have disaster written all over them. And I know that they've won all those games, made the playoffs last year, and they have a lot of talent. I mean, they have a lot of talent on that defense, on the offensive line. There's a lot to even, and now they add Judy to Amari Cooper. At least you're a little better out wide. But there's just so much weirdness. And I guess you could say that every year in this era. But, yeah, Stefanski would have been on my board. I'm going to stick in Philadelphia and take Nick Sirianni as much as I don't want to do it. But, yeah, it just, there's such high expectations with the Eagles. Obviously, it was an up-in-the-air conversation last year. So if you get off to a slow start, wouldn't be the craziest thing in the world if Nick got fired, week 8, week 9. But hopefully for all of our sake, that doesn't happen. And then I'm going to go with Sean McDermott from Buffalo as my other pick, another guy with pretty high expectations. Maybe he makes another inappropriate 9/11 comment and gets fired for it this year. But he had that issue.
He was just saying that he liked their dedication or their planning or whatever.
Yeah, they planned it out well. They did they did what they were setting. They accomplished their goal, I guess you could say, from Sean McDermott's point of view. Bizarre, but still I don't think has been given enough credit for how bizarre it was. Just whatever. That's a whole other conversation. But when that happened last year, it actually seemed like for a second he might get fired because of it. And it seemed like in general, that was like the tipping point of like the Bills were struggling and people just like at that point were assuming he was done. And then
he somehow managed to get his OC fired instead, or
yeah.
Or no, it was the DC. I can't even remember now.
No, OC, right?
Yeah, it was the OC. Yeah. He got the OC fired instead. It's like he's the one that wrote my speech.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I'll go with McDermott.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go. Give me Matt Eberflus. Yeah. I think the expectations are so high. You almost took the Chicago Bears as a potential Super Bowl winner. I'm talking about Caleb Williams over 4,000 yards. Matt Eberflus has been there through some terrible years. I think if Caleb Williams doesn't come out of the gate hot, Eberflus might be gone. And so I think the Bears are going to have a good year. I think everybody in Chicago thinks the Bears are going to have a good year. And if they don't, Eberflus could be on a short chain. So I'll take him, and then I will round it out here. Also going to the NFC East. Give me Brian Daboll. I think the Giants are going to be a disaster this year, and they were a disaster last year. And I don't think it's Daboll's fault, but I think Daboll might get blamed because Joe Shane's not going to fire himself. So Brian Daboll at plus 900 rounds it out for me.
I'm going to go with Zach Taylor. I don't think there's really any scenario he gets fired. I guess I could have went Mike McCarthy instead, but give me Zach Taylor. They have such high expectations. I'm predicting them to be bad. So I guess, but I don't think they'll fire him, especially because he was pretty decent with Jake Browning last year. It probably should have been McCarthy, but give me Taylor.
I don't understand Mike McCarthy being the number 2 guy at plus 600. Like
Jerry refuses to fire him.
Yeah, Jerry should have fired Jason Garrett like 3 years before he did. He should have fired McCarthy 2 years, or like each of the last 2 years. I just don't feel like that's something that Jerry Jones would do. That one kind of baffled me as I looked at the odds.
He does. Yeah, I think people think of Jerry Jones as this like impulsive old man who wants to, like, he's George Steinbrenner for a baseball reference, but he kind of isn't that. He kind of gets a guy and he's like, I like my guy, I'm sticking with him. Like he never fires his guys. So yeah, I agree.
All right, so that brings us to, we still have MVP, Coach of the Year, and worst team. Let's go to, I don't want that one. What the heck? Let's do it for the memes. Let's go to Coach of the Year, and my first selection is going to be a guy that I just picked for first coach fired. Give me Matt Eberflus.
Yeah.
This is the guy I was talking about. Like, he was very highly on my list for both Coach of the Year and first coach fired because I see the outcome where the Bears make the playoffs, Caleb Williams throws for 4,000 yards, and Eberflus gets Coach of the Year. I also see the path where they're 1-5 6 weeks in, and he gets fired because Caleb Williams doesn't look good. So give me Eberflus, Coach of the Year.
I'll take Raheem Morris as my first pick. If I'm high on the Falcons and think they're a Super Bowl contender, maybe a team that could push for home field advantage, they have a first-year coach. So I think he would get it in that scenario.
He was my number 2 guy on this list.
He was number 2. Eberflus was up there for me as well. My number 2 pick here will be shoo, 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 shoo. You can run fast, explosives. Jonathan Gannon. Put him on the board from the Cardinals. I have the Cardinals as a sleeper playoff team. So if that were to happen, I think Gannon would get a whole lot of credit, and I think he would deserve it.
All right. I'm going to go to Shane Steichen. I think what Shane Steichen did last year was incredible. Losing his rookie quarterback, cobbling it together with Gardner Minshew. He gets Anthony Richardson back now. Like, if you look over the years of who's won this award, it's a guy with a new team or a guy with a rookie quarterback. And last year was the sweet spot of both for Shane Steichen. I still think he gets that rookie quarterback shine this year, given what, Anthony Richardson only playing like 100 snaps last year. So give me Shane Steichen. And then my next one is tough because there's 2 guys I'd like to take here. I'm going to go with give me Mike McDonald. Mike McDonald, I could see Seattle. Seattle has a lot of pieces, man. They've got the pieces for a good offense. They've got the pieces for a good defense. Maybe they just needed a change of culture. Maybe they needed a new guy at the helm. We've seen it before. We'll see it again. Maybe we see it this year with Mike McDonald.
Yeah, I like that. I'm going to go with Antonio Pierce. I'm putting my money where my mouth is with the Raiders. And I think that he's a feel-good story that I think the media would eat up as a former player. And he just went on Part of My Take, gave a great interview there. I think he would be eaten. I think the Raiders are surprising. They're also a Tiffany franchise. I think he'll get a ton of credit for that. Then my last pick, I'm torn by going with someone who's just like a staple, and I don't know. No, I'm not going to go with that person. Give me Dan Quinn, just as if Washington were to be a surprise first-year coach, and he's a little bit of a media darling too. I hate that pick. I really, really hate that pick. There's 2 names I should have taken instead of that name, but that's like the more surprising one, I guess.
Yeah, there's 4 guys left I still want to take.
Yeah, there's 2 I'm really looking at that.
And I'm trying to decide. I'm going to scratch Harbaugh because I just don't think the Chargers are going to be that good. But if they are, I feel like he'd get a lot of lore. So,
yeah, you should give another game ball to Connor Stallions this year, like he just showed in the documentary. I don't even want to get started on Jim.
Yeah, could go Robert Saleh because he might, if the defense is good, if the Jets make a push.
I think Rodgers will get all the credit. If that happens.
Might. Yeah, that's my hesitation, which brings me down to DeMeco Ryans or Matt LaFleur.
And DeMeco won't win it back-to-back years.
Yeah, I don't think DeMeco will win it back-to-back years, but I'm already all in on Green Bay with a Super Bowl pick. But I'm gonna ride the Green Bay train here. I think I'm gonna go with LaFleur. I think several of those guys have a shot, but for the way my draft is shaken out, I think LaFleur makes the most sense. So
I should have taken Tomlin instead of Quinn. Is what it comes down to. I just don't know if the Steelers go 12-5. Is that even considered like a surprise that Tomlin should get credit for? I don't know. So that's kind of why I did. Doug Peterson was another name I thought of, by the way.
Yeah. All right, that leaves us with MVP and first pick in the draft. Mark, you get the first pick here, so which one do you want to do?
I'll take the first pick of the draft. We'll leave MVP for last.
All right. Who do you got?
The Carolina Panthers, back-to-back number one picks. So yeah, they just did not improve enough for me to buy in. I will say, apparently Bryce Young's looked a lot better here in preseason and in training camp. I'm hopeful that
he couldn't have looked worse.
Yeah, exactly. I'm hopeful that I'm wrong, but I have to take them.
Yeah, this is the one that I didn't want the first pick on because there were 3 teams that I liked for this, and I wanted to be able to get 2 of them. So give me the Patriots and the Broncos. 2 teams, starting rookie quarterbacks. I think Bo Nix was not a very good pick. I think Denver had to do it. I think that's a bad football team. I like Drake May, but I didn't like the coach they hired, and I think the rest of the team is a disaster. So, I mean, those are easily the top 3 for me, and I'm able to get 2 of the 3 of them here. So that kicks it back over to you. Who's your next pick?
I'll take my number 2. They were actually my number 2 team on my little list here. It's the New York Giants. I'll take the Giants here. And I think there was a pod earlier on in the season where we were talking about their win total and why I was like, I like under 6.5, but it makes me nervous that they were able to get to 6 wins or whatever it was last year with backup quarterback play. The thing that I realized is that Daniel Jones is also backup quarterback play. So it's not like they're going to get some massive improvement. But no, the other thing I realized is that I think that they lost their best player on offense as well as their best player on defense, with Saquon on offense and Xavier McKinney on defense. I just don't think, even though that team overperformed with the backup last year, I don't think that's the same team anymore. So I don't even think it's Daboll's fault. I just think that Joe Schoen has set this team up for more failure than any team I can remember in recent memory. He's done a terrible job, in my opinion. But my next pick, I'll go with Minnesota. I'll go with the Minnesota Vikings. They're actually a team that I was a little bit higher on than I think other people were a couple of weeks ago. They've just had this training camp from hell. I mean, all these injuries, you take JJ off the board, all these offensive line injuries, all these secondary injuries, not to mention Kyrie Jackson, a guy who they picked on day 2, they were counting on to play an important role, passes away tragically. And he was a guy I loved and thought could have stepped into a role. Awful situation, and they just cut Lewis Cine today, who was a former first-round pick. Like, they traded Andrew Booth, who was a first-round pick or second-round pick last year. It's just the Vikings defense is a catastrophe. And Brian Flores did a good job kind of patchworking things together last year. I think there's a chance Brian Flores is having issues working with people again. If all these first-round picks and all these busts are happening and getting shipped out right away, basically, like Lewis Cine's getting cut a year after 2 years after he's picked. Booth is getting traded 9 months after he's picked. Like, I just weird vibes in Minnesota. Yeah,
Rufus chiming in on YouTube agrees with your idea here of the Vikings getting the first overall pick. I'm going to go with the team I was afraid you were going to take here, and that's the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah.
I think the Tennessee Titans, not only did they not improve their roster, they deproved is not the word I'm looking for. But whatever. You get the idea. Their coaching staff. Losing Vrabel is going to be a huge loss for this franchise, I think. I think Vrabel got winning seasons out of a roster that should have been in contention for the first overall pick. And now Vrabel's gone. Derrick Henry's gone. I don't know what they have, really. So I could see it being really bad in Tennessee. And then I'm going to go... You start to get into at this point, it's like, who's going to have the big injury? Because that's what it comes down to at a point. The Commanders are up there in terms of odds. I think Jaden Daniels is going to be good enough for the Commanders. They're not going to be in that contention. The Raiders are up there, and I could certainly see everything imploding in Las Vegas, but I'm going to go to I'm going to go to a team that you're going to be upset that I'm taking, but I'm taking the Chargers. I could see this going really, really badly. I mean, you've got a new coach coming in that can maybe be a little difficult to work with. Herbert has had some injury issues. There's no wide receivers on this football team, which apparently doesn't matter because we're going to be running the I formation for 80% of the game. But I could see the Chargers being really bad this year. I could also see them making the playoffs, but they're one of those high variance teams that I look at the pieces and I'm like, Herbert has to transcend some talent here. You're trying to transform a mess of a defense. So I'll take the Chargers at plus 5,000. And I know that you were eyeing them because you
they were my pick.
Had me put them on this board, but you talked me into it.
Yeah, they were my pick. I have no idea where I'm going now. I have Tampa Bay written down as the last pick here, but like
it's so hard in that division.
Yeah, and I can't see them like fully spiraling and being like dreadful. I guess I'll just go the injury route. I'll go the Rams. Just like if Stafford gets hurt, that defense is going to be the worst in football, in my opinion. So if Stafford gets hurt, if the offense is at all not great, they should be bad. But yeah, it's a bad pick.
All right. Los Angeles Rams. I'm not sure what their odds are. I'll have to.
No, I'm sure they're crazy high. I'll pull them up right here.
It's fine. I've got to look up a few
50
other
to
odds.
1. They are plus 5,000.
Okay. All right, perfect. Well, that leaves us with only MVP remaining. I get the first pick here.
By the way, I'm betting that Chargers line that you took, the 50 to 1 or plus 5,000 to have the worst record. I think that's a crazy number.
Yeah. All right, well, here's some MVP stats for you. A quarterback has won 16 of the last 17 years, the MVP award. Every MVP of the last 10 or of the last 11 years has won 11 or more games and has been the QB of the 1 seed or the 2 seed. So you're thinking a quarterback of a team that's going to win a lot of games. And, I mean, that's Patrick Mahomes. So give me Patrick Mahomes. We can probably stop the draft here, right?
No, I have my number one guy still available here.
No? Okay.
And it's a 2-time MVP. It's the guy who's the reigning MVP. Give me Lamar Jackson. And I'm actually betting. I placed a pretty sizable wager for an MVP future. But I'm actually betting Lamar Jackson plus 1,800 to win MVP. I think it's absolutely insane that he has like the 7th best odds or something crazy to win MVP as the reigning MVP. There's no reason to believe he's going to be worse in the second year of the Monken system that won him the MVP. Zay Flowers should take a step in his second year into being more of a wide receiver one. Mark Andrews wasn't healthy for half of the year. I don't see any reason Lamar is not going to be MVP again.
All right, Lamar Jackson at plus 1,800. Who's your second pick?
I'll go with Jalen Hurts plus 1,400. I gave my stat earlier on the Armchair Scouts pod that everyone needs to check out. But I said I found this out today. I heard it tangentially and then started looking up some stuff. Jalen Hurts had 15 turnover-worthy throws last season, and he had 15 interceptions on those turnover-worthy throws. He's the first quarterback to have 10-plus turnover-worthy throws in a season and not get away with a single interception. So, in my opinion, that means that Jalen Hurts had the most unlucky season in the history of the NFL for quarterbacks. That's not my opinion. That's just a fact. No, I'm joking. But I think that we're well due for Jalen Hurts' positive regression when it comes to turnovers. By the way, 15 interceptions is the amount that he had the 2 years previous combined that he had last season. So I think he was projected by PFF to have, I think, 4,700 passing yards when they did their projections this year, which seems wild to me. But I think there's a chance this offense is really, really high octane and one of the best in football, and Jalen would be a big part of that.
Yeah, and he's always going to have that rushing touchdown numbers too. So that's a great pick. I'm going to go. I really wanted Hurts there. I really wanted Hurts or Lamar on the wraparound. So not getting either of those guys really stinks. Give me. I mean, I've ridden him this far. Give me Jordan Love. I'll show some love to Jordan Love. If I'm in on the Packers, I'm in on the Packers, and I was in on him last year. And if Love starts the season the way he ended last year, he will be in the MVP consideration. So I will take Jordan Love, and then I'm going to take C.J. Stroud too. Give me C.J. Stroud at plus 850. So I got Mahomes, Love, and Stroud. You got Jackson and Hurts. Where are you going now?
I'll go Josh Allen just because I'm pretty low on the Bills. So if the Bills do well, I think it'll be because of Josh Allen. Not much to say there. And then my last pick, I'm going to go Caleb Williams. I'll go off the board a little crazy. I think it's 50-1. I actually got it at 80-1 earlier on this offseason. But if the Bears are like a 12-win division-winning champion, I think Caleb Williams could be the first quarterback in the history of the NFL to win MVP as a rookie. So put my money where my mouth is.
All right. I'm going to give me Aaron Rodgers then.
Ooh.
If the Jet, I didn't get exposure to the Jets being good elsewhere, so I'll take Aaron Rodgers for MVP.
I almost took Kyler where I took Caleb Williams. I thought about Kyler pretty hard. I do think Kyler has crazy high upside, but I just wanted to give him honorable mention.
Yeah, I really wanted to get Rodgers in there. I wanted to get some Packers exposure. I thought it would be Garrett Wilson for Offensive Player of the Year. I didn't get him there. I didn't get the Jets as a Super Bowl winner, so I figured I had to tack it in somewhere here.
Yeah, you could have Breece Hall in the Offensive Player of the Year draft. I guess I thought about that after I took Jonathan Taylor, that pick probably should have been Breece Hall. I should have went double jet, but
yeah, Breece Hall was on my list. I just was afraid that he won't get utilized enough.
Yeah, it's fair.
So there you have it, guys. Those are our award predictions for the NFL season. We will keep track of those. We'll revisit that at the end of the year. Mark, before we get out of here, man, we're almost there. We are almost to recapping real NFL football games. Do you have any final thoughts for the people before we get out of here?
My final thought, I usually give a bet here or something college football related. I'll say my final thought. Bet Georgia minus 13 against Clemson. Clemson is one of 4 teams in college football to not take a transfer in the transfer portal. The other 3, Army, Air Force, and Navy. So I think that Clemson's stuck in the mud. They're stuck in the times. They're only returning half of their starters. They're not transferring anyone in. I think Georgia lays a beat down on Clemson.
All right, there you have it, guys. If you want to hear more of Mark's college football takes, be sure you check out the Armchair Scout Show. We'll come out every week on Thursday previewing the college football season. But this is not that show. This is Chalk Talk. And thank you guys for hanging out with us for episode number 167. If you enjoy what you heard on the show, if you're ready to get to the regular season, the NFL just called me. They said, hey, we're not going to get to the regular season until you guys get 100 ratings on Apple Podcasts. So we've got a little ways to go. You guys help us out so the NFL season can kick off on time. Smash that subscribe button. Drop those 5-star ratings. You can follow me on Twitter at ShaneHalfNFL. He is at Mark Henry Jr., and we will catch you guys next time.